Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Making It Work. I'm Jimmy. I appreciate you being here today. Today's video is going to be about the 5 and it might be 6 tools that I regret buying, and I highly recommend against you guys buying, whether you're new or you've been doing this a little while. Hopefully you haven't bought these tools yet, so hopefully this video will help you out. Let's get right into it. Where the heck did I put those worthless tools at? Alright, number 1 tool I regret buying is this inductive pickup. It's made to measure coils and to give you data on your scope of how a ignition coil is doing on a COP or coil on plug engine. Bought this to use it on a scope before I had my cool little standalone tool that does it without a scope hookup and all that. These are all the adapters and stuff made to plug into this tool to get it on a scope. I've never used it. I think I spent about 60-70 bucks putting all this together and I never ended up using this tool. I'm trying to think of who makes this. This side towards coil to increase signal. You can see that on there. This side on coil to increase signal. And it's got the cord and all to hook to your oscilloscope, but it just seemed like a big hassle to get it all hooked up, so I never even got to use it. I ended up buying this GTC 505. Plug your ends in on the tool, and whatever inductive pickup you want to use, you can use your standard pickup or whatever pickup you want to use. Use this tool to read your coils. It actually works far better. You can change your screens, whatever kind of view, whatever kind of data you want, and it'll show you what your coil's doing in comparison to known good coils. So you can go from cylinder to cylinder with this tool. So I've never even used it. I'm going to find out. I got this on the Snap-on truck, but I'm not sure if it's a Snap-on brand tool. You guys don't need to know the part number for that, because you definitely don't want that tool in your toolbox. I hope you guys haven't bought the same tool, because maybe it's too late if you've already got it in your toolbox. But the GTC 505 I can highly recommend. Alright guys, the second tool I recommend you don't buy. Some people probably have used this tool. I haven't had good luck with it. I'm sure there's some people out there that are going to chime in the comments that, oh yeah, that tool works great, you don't know what you're doing, blah blah blah, you only been doing it since 1981, etc, etc. But this is a Snap-on. You're gonna focus on it. Well, I guess it's not going to show you. It comes with this tool, and it's meant to clip onto there, and you can actually put your freeze plugs in, and they tell you when you buy it. It's gonna help you put all your freeze plugs in at an angle. It works great. You're gonna love this tool. Look how fantastic it is. It articulates, and you can put freeze plugs in at an angle. But the problem is it will not start freeze plugs, especially if it's at an angle. There's no way hammering here is going to push the freeze plug this way. It pushes the freeze plug this way. The only way it works is at this angle or very slightly off center, and even then it'll always try to roll the freeze plug into the hole, so it never ends up going in straight. I've had much better luck with the correct size socket and extension, or just a hammer directly on the freeze plug, a brass hammer, to get the freeze plug started. This will finish it and seat the tool, the freeze plug flush with the tool's shoulder. It will seat the freeze plug flush pretty well once you've gotten it in quite a ways. But I bought this tool in the 80s, and you can see some of these have never been used. Some of them are still brand new. These are Snap-on tools. I think I probably paid 150 bucks or so for it. I'm not really sure. I'm totally guessing. If I can find out, I'll let you know. It's got a patent on it though. To me, it's basically a worthless tool. Comes with really tiny freeze plug adapters. Definitely good idea to steer clear of this tool. Like I said, just a socket with an extension and a brass hammer, or depending how much you like your extension, a sledgehammer or ball peen hammer will get the freeze plug in. If you're doing engines out of the car, this tool will probably work okay. But if you're thinking you're going to sneak around tight spots and avoid taking starters out and stuff like that, it's just not the case, guys. You want me to put the part number in this? You let me know in the comments. I'll get you the part number to it, but I'm telling you to stay away from it, so you don't really need a part number, do you? Alright guys, the next tool I'm going to tell you to steer clear of is some of these allegedly universal cam gear locking tools when you do timing belts. These supposedly help you find the sweet spot because they're so adjustable, and you can lock your dual overhead cams by turning these knobs, locking them into place so that your cam gears won't turn. This one, I think it's worked 1 or 2 times out of the 50 or 60 times I've tried to use it. I haven't really found a good use for it. That doesn't mean it won't work for somebody else. I couldn't find any good use for it. Kind of disappointed that I bought it. I think it was about 40 bucks or so. This is a similar tool. This is designed to lock cam gears on dual overhead cams, and you can thread this in and out, put it in between your pulleys, and these ears actually will grab the pulleys, or you want to try to find holes in the gears It's got to be the perfect depth, the perfect spacing. It takes forever to thread and unthread these. Never use them. Find it a lot easier just to turn each gear independently and get the belt on, and I'll use my brake hose clamp tool to hold the belt onto the pulley temporarily while I set everything up. Definitely stay away. The only one I found in that department that works is this. This is a, I got this on the Snap-on truck. It's a Blue Point ML5000. This just has little ears that have pretty aggressive teeth on them, and this will lock the pulleys, and it's pretty easy to set up the distance and stuff like that, and it's fairly good. This is the best of the ones I've tried. If you have to have one to lock the cams, the ML5000 from Blue Point, which is Snap-on's Chinese brand, I mean, it works okay. Even this one that works most of the time, I have a hard time pulling it out of the box. It ends up sitting most of the time and doesn't get used just because some of the Nissans have a aggressive exhaust cam profile, or something in the cam timing it'll want to turn quite a bit. So I'll use this on some of those, but it's been quite a while since I've had to use any of these cam locking tools. I'd probably steer away from them and spend my money on something else. Okay guys, the third tool I would steer clear from is, well, this is a BMW Mini Cooper timing set for locking your cam and crank in place. I bought it pretty inexpensively online just because I have no love for this tool. It says BMW Mini N12 N14 engine. I bought it because I was doing a timing chain job on a Mini Cooper, making a bunch of noise and had bad guides, and that was the one time I've used it. The shop didn't want to buy it, I guess. Maybe I didn't push hard enough, so I bought it, and it's been sitting in my box ever since. That was probably 2.5 years ago, the last Mini Cooper I did a timing chain on. So you guys need to try to steer your shop into buying these specialty tools, because you're going to do a job once or twice. I mean, it's different if you work at BMW, but they'll supply the tools for you, won't they? Really no use for some of these cam timing tools for vehicles that aren't that common. Mini Coopers and Fiat 500s. Honestly, my personal opinion, I tow them to the junkyard, but that's what we do, is fix cars. So customer wants to fix a car and spend the money, I guess you do it, but try to get the shop to buy a tool like this, especially if it's something unusual. I could see buying tools for a Ford V8 timing job and things like that, or even some of the V6s with dual overhead cams. I just made a video about an Explorer. I did a water pump which is driven by the timing chain, and that tool the shop bought, but that tool I use all the time. I do, 6-8 water pumps on the Ford 3.5s every year, so I've used that timing kit that the shop bought a lot. Just a little food for thought when it comes to these specialty tools, timing component tools. If you're not working on tons of them, let the shop pay for it or let them tow it somewhere else, because this tool's sitting in my box collecting dust. Something to think about. Another tool I bought, this is a Snap-on B1359B. You guys that work on trucks will know what this is. This is a rear drum brake spring tool. You hook it inside the rear brakes, inside the spring, and you can leverage the spring. It has a spring clipped by a spring. So you leverage the spring to get it unhooked, and then you release it until you can get the shoes off. You can see this is quite a bit rusty. I'm not sure if that shows up on the camera or not. It sits in my box. I don't use it. I bought it because we had 2 big trucks come in 1 week 8 years ago. So I bought this tool. I did the 2 trucks without the tool, using vice grips and bending the spring out. And after being a little frustrated, and the Snap-on guy had this on his truck, I bought it, and I've never used it since. Unless you guys are doing a lot of heavy trucks, you can steer clear of. Okay guys, the last tool, which I guess is the 6th, I wasn't sure if it was 5 or 6, but 6 categories. Another tool that I really wish I would have never bought is these stretchy belt removal and installation tools. There's 2 companies that make them. I'm gonna look up the name. Honestly, I bought these so long ago, and they've been sitting in my box. Every time I've tried to use them, this one just says patent number 9057422. There's no brand on it. Maybe they're ashamed of it because it doesn't work. This one's a Blue Point tool, BB1T1. This one has a chance of working on some stretchy belts, the Mazdas and Fords. I just did a compressor today on a Ford Fiesta. Had a bad clutch, melted clutch. Neither of these tools would work because you couldn't get in between the frame, the pulley, and get the belt on and spin it around and get the tool to work without falling off the pulley or hitting the frame and not clearing. Same thing with this one. Where this tool has worked for me a few times, this tool has never worked. I've never gotten a single belt on or off with this one. It says remove, and then it says install, and it doesn't do either. From my Snappy guy, you put this on your power steering pulley or whatever pulley you can get it on, and this pin's supposed to lock it in place and help you turn the belt on. It doesn't work. The belt will always slip over the tool in or out, just the same as there's no tool on there. So if you guys want to know what to use, I use tie wraps. If you got some good heavy-duty tie wraps, 2 good tie wraps around the power steering pulley, whatever you can get it around on your stretchy belt, and then turn the crankshaft over with a ratchet wrench or a ratchet and a socket so that you can keep the momentum going while you're turning it. And the tie wraps will help pull the stretchy belt back onto the pulleys. Way better than any of this junk. Stay away from some of these stretchy belt installation tools until they come up with a better method. Maybe there is one and I just haven't seen it because I get tired of buying overpriced stuff on the tool trucks. So, and I don't know if the Chinese brands like Harbor Freight and some of those make tools that work. If they do, you guys let me know in the comments. Steer away from those. All 6 of these tools are tools that just sit in my box and collect dust. I don't have the heart to throw them away because I paid good money for them. So I just basically let them sit in my box unused. And once I really need the space, I guess I'll do something with them. Maybe sell them to the scrap guy. But I appreciate you guys watching the video. Alright, I hope you guys got something out of that video. And yeah, I saved you a few bucks on some of these useless tools or almost useless tools. I guess maybe some people might have some luck with them. I wish you'd let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm doing it the wrong way. For me, they haven't worked at all. And I've given them a try on quite a few things. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching this video. And hopefully I saved you a couple bucks. Tune into the next one. This weekend I'm going to probably load up another 3 videos. I got myself a new Toyota Tacoma. I just did a long-term review on my other truck, and then the dealer came through and offered me a check to trade my truck in and get a new truck with more options. So I'll do a video on that. And I got a couple new tools that haven't arrived yet. I got to tell you the YouTube stuff. Like and subscribe. And don't, if you guys like and subscribe, click the bell notification so you know when I upload a new video. I really appreciate it because I don't want to have to put a thong on in these videos or do any yoga in my thong or run around in micro bikinis for you. If that's what it takes, No, that's bad. I'm not going to do that. I promise I wouldn't do that. We got to do what we got to do to make this stuff work, right? I want to try to help you guys out if I can with some of my experience and some of the good and the bad choices I've made. So if it helps you guys out, you guys that made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it. So just between us, I'm going to talk to you guys about tool debt in another video. So a little inside information so that you guys will get a good idea about what to avoid, some of the pitfalls I've done. I really wanted to push myself into the next level, and I was getting a lot of training and taking myself up as fast and far as I thought I could. And I thought I had to spend a lot of money on tools and equipment and diagnostic machines to be able to do that. So at one point I had almost $20,000 in tool debt to my Snap-on man. Little by little over the years I realized what it cost on a Snap-on truck versus what it cost other places, especially as the internet became more prevalent. And then I realized $20,000 on a Snap-on truck is about $4,000 from other brands. So I don't care how good their tools are, $16,000 extra out of your pocket, it's not going to help you out in the long run. You guys that stayed here to the end, keep in mind that at the peak I was nearly $20,000 in tool debt, and right now I have $0 in tool debt. When I buy tools now, I buy them cash. I try to find deals on used tools if I can, if it's not something I need right away. If it is something I need right away, make a low offer to the Snap-on guy who usually turns it down. Or I make an offer to my gear wrench guy who works with me a little bit when he can, or I'll buy tools online if I have to. But I know when I do that, I'm going to lose the service that comes with buying tools from the tool trucks. So buying tools online isn't such a bad thing. It's not as taboo as it used to be. If you guys have made it to the end of this video, that's just a little bit of food for thought. But I will make a full video about that. I'm going to do a video all about that. And shout out to my wife, Mary Ann. She made the shirts for me. I got a few of them now, so I'm going to start wearing these when I do my videos. See you next time.